All right, hello everyone. Today we are discussing project selection and business alignment. Um, and when we're talking about this, understand every organization has ideas, new programs, new systems, new services, new products, new partnerships, new initiatives, blah blah blah. Right? But here's the reality: organizations do not have unlimited time, unlimited money, unlimited people, or unlimited resources. Even if they're Amazon, even if they're Tesla, even if they're Walmart, it's not unlimited. So that means that every good idea cannot become a project. Project selection is the process of deciding which project should move forward. Okay? Understand that. It's the selection, it's the process, right? Of deciding what project are we going to move forward with. Business alignment means making sure those projects support the organization's mission, strategy, goals, and expected value. The project must make sense to the organization sponsoring the project, right? So why does that matter? It matters because the wrong project can do what? Waste resources, distract people, pull the organization away from its priorities, right? And a project sounds exciting, right? It can sound exciting, but if it doesn't support the organizational goals, solve a real problem, or create measurable value, it might not be the right project at the right time. And that's important because project management is not just about doing projects correctly. It's also about choosing the right projects to do or the correct projects to do, right? So a well-managed project can still be a poor investment if it's not aligned with the organization's direction. So the project selection must happen before any major time, money, or people are committed, right? So when it comes to business alignment, let's ask one major question here. How does the project support the larger direction of the organization? Now, for business, that may mean increasing revenue, improving customer experiences, reducing costs, strengthening their operations and processes, or gaining a competitive advantage, right? Now, for college, that might mean improving student success, increasing retention, strengthening workforce pathways, supporting transfer opportunities, or aligning programs with employer needs. And possibly even for a nonprofit or community organization, that can mean expanding access, improving services, right, strengthening the community impact, or developing leaders. The key point is a project should never exist in isolation. It should be connected to something larger than itself. Okay. And if the project does not support the strategy, then as a leader, you must ask whether it deserves the priority or not. Now, here's some common criteria. Let's talk about some common criteria for selecting projects. Organizations often use a selection criteria to compare project ideas, and every organization has different ones. Okay, so some common criteria include what's the strategic fit. We talk about it all the time in project management. The expected value, or the expected cost, the risk, the urgency, right? Available resources, stakeholder impact, and ROI, return on investment. So strategic fit asks, does the project support our mission and goals? Expected value asks, what benefit will the project create? Cost asks, what will this project require financially, right? Risk will ask, what could go wrong? How serious would the impact be? Resources can ask, do we have the people, the time, the technology, or the capacity to complete it? Stakeholder impact will ask, who will be affected and how? See, these questions help leaders avoid selecting projects based on emotion, pressure, popularity, or urgency, right? That's a recipe for disaster. They create a more disciplined way to decide what deserves investment. So let's look at a higher education example. Suppose Reynolds College is deciding whether to redesign an entrepreneurship course using business planning software such as LivePlan, right? On the surface, that may look like a course update. But from a project selection and alignment standpoint, leadership asks deeper questions. Does the redesign support student learning? Does it help students build real business plans? It does. Does it align with workforce and entrepreneurship outcomes? It does. Does it improve student engagement and completion? Absolutely. Does the redesign support student learning? And that's the first one. Yes, it does, right? Does it prepare students to apply business concepts beyond the classroom? Absolutely. Because the Life Plan helps students build a viable business plan. Now, that connects directly to the kind of work that I do in business education. So when designing entrepreneurship, project management, or marketing courses, the goal is not to just create assignments. The goal is to align the learning activities with your success, with your business readiness, with workforce relevance, right? And with institutional outcomes. That is business alignment in action. The project is stronger because it connects academic work to real world value, right? So how does your project manager or your role as a project manager or a project leader play in project selection? And most of the time, project managers, it depends on if an organization has a separate PMO office, project management office. The project manager might be involved in the project selection. Most of the time, it's the stakeholders that's going to approve the project, select which projects they want to work on. But as a leader, you must be willing to ask the hard questions before approving a project. Does this project support our purpose? Do we have the people and the resources to execute it? Is it the right time? What value will it create? What happens if we do not do it? Right? So, for example, I talked about my leadership framework before that connects directly purpose, people, process, and performance, my 3SP leadership. My purpose will ask why the project even matter. And I ask this to my clients. Why do projects even matter? Okay. When it involves the people process, the people aspect, we always ask who is impacted and what must be involved. And we want the details. In the process aspect, we always ask how the project will be selected, planned, and executed. Okay. And then, of course, with the performance aspects, how will success be measured in this project? How are we going to measure success? What do you see as success, right? So when we align those 4 areas, the project selection becomes more strategic and less reactive, right? So just understand, project selection and business alignment helps organizations choose the right projects for the right reasons. Every project uses resources, so every project should create value. A project should support your organization's mission, strategy, the goals, the stakeholders, and expected outcomes. So as you think about project selection, I want you to remember this. The goal is not to approve every good idea. The goal is to select the right projects that create the greatest value. Strong project selection protects the organization from wasted effort and keeps project work connected to the purpose, the strategy, and the performance.